Stuck a couple Bitcoins. Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Yes, hello.
Hey, Woody.
Hey, Brandon.
How's it going, man?
Doing good. What a wild altcoin week.
Yeah, seriously. We're here. It is Sunday, January 15th. The second show of the new year.
Yep, episode number 46.
And yeah, really happy to be here. As usual, we are brought to you this week by Cryptopia. The website there is www.cryptopia.co.nz.
Yeah, and if you don't know, Cryptopia is an altcoin platform with a lot of different features. Primarily, it has an exchange, and it also has forums and other ways for people to interact with altcoins.
Yeah, Cryptopia, they've been around for a few years now. They're just a really reliable service. And it's just a fun place to trade, you know, kind of reminds me of kind of the more just relaxed, like chill places to trade, I guess. They have a lot of old coins and stuff. And they also have a ton of other features like a forum, which is where we hang out. We have a thread in the Cryptopia forums. Head over to the altcoin section. We're stickied up there. And if you post any comments or feedback or coin suggestions or news or whatever, we will throw you some dots. We like to give away usually like 2,500 dots for any comments or ideas or anything. So please stop by and leave us a message.
Yes. We also have another giveaway coming up later in the show. Mineum has given us 500 Mineum to give away.
Yeah, we're doing it again. We've been having a lot of fun giving out these Mineum for the past couple weeks. So just be on the lookout. It'll be kind of the same deal as last week, so we'll kind of tweet out a question or whatever, and the first answer will get the Mineum. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that.
For sure. We also are still accepting votes for our Wolong Awards over at blockchaindynamics.net.
Oh, yep.
We've gotten a lot of good voting so far, and we really appreciate that. And if you haven't voted yet, head on over there and vote for numerous categories.
Yep, all kinds of fun stuff up there. Best new coin, best dump, the usual fun altcoin type shit. We also, if you haven't checked out the website recently, encourage it. It's blockchaindynamics.net. We have the latest episode just right up front there, so it's kind of one of the easiest ways to keep up with the latest in chain dynamics stuff.
For sure, and hopefully we're going to be improving that going forward as well.
Alrighty, so we're just going to jump right into the show here. Going to start it off this week with the news.
We love that news.
Love the news. First up, we got a Decred roadmap. What do you think about this roadmap, Woody?
Well, it's been nice to be keeping up with different roadmaps last couple shows. I feel like if anyone ever has this type of update to make us aware of, we'd really appreciate that. This Decred roadmap, they're heading in a very decentralized governance direction, is what the overall feeling to me was.
Yeah, the first thing I noticed when I opened this blog is they have a huge picture of a dam. It just makes me think that they're going for a huge civil engineering project, which would be great. But
yeah,
the website is blog.decred.org, where you can see this roadmap. And yeah, like you said, as far as what's actually the content of the roadmap, I think definitely that turn in the direction of a decentralized governance is an interesting choice. Decred was a pretty huge launch last year, but it kind of feels like it never found its footing in terms of like what its mission was. A lot of the coins from last year, they have a pretty clear kind of mission and goal. A lot of them haven't been so successful at getting adoption or actually implementing it. But like you mostly know what those big coins are about, like Ethereum and Lisk,
sure.
Waves, that kind of stuff. Decred kind of was out there, but it was kind of hard to say what it was about. And so it's nice to have this roadmap bringing a little bit more of that into clarity.
Definitely. Looks like they're going to, aside from just saying that, on every bullet point here, it's like improved GUI wallets. So I haven't used their current GUI. I don't know how improved it needs to be.
Well, I remember from the airdrop, they had like an online wallet that was available immediately. And that was, effective enough to at least transact with the airdrop and stuff.
Right.
So I'd be curious to see what their progress has been like in the meantime. But yeah, the direction really, the big thing here is that switch to essentially a DAO, which I'm kind of surprised to see people going in that angle considering what happened the first time. Obviously, we won't expect them to fall victim to the same issue because it's not it's not an Ethereum smart contract.
They've definitely taken a different approach, right?
Yeah, it's so I was trying to see what they described. It's a stakeholder directed DAO is what they're calling it.
Yep.
And rather than being a big monolithic smart contract, they're going to build it into several steps. So I guess their focus is trying to bring back the concept of the DAO, but to do it in a way that is more robust.
I find that like a worthwhile attempt, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I guess I'm still a little jaded from the original DAO. And what actually, and not so much because of the, the hack issue or whatever, which obviously was the main reason that it went down as hard as it did. But the DAO had other problems too in terms of kind of the core concept of this idea of distributed governance. It's a cool idea, but in the case of the DAO, almost all of the people who were involved were speculators, and they didn't really have... They might have had an interest in the governance in the sense that they have a financial interest, but they certainly weren't expressing that interest.
Right.
And they got into a situation where there was not a lot of participation, essentially, in using the actual core functionality of the coin for what it's for. And so my question would kind of on the DAO that I wanted to see play out but didn't get to because of the whole hack thing was, like, will this distributed governance model work even if only... 10% of the token holders are actually participating in the governance process.
Exactly. I understand what you mean there.
And I'm really curious to see how that plays out. So that's one of the reasons that I will be watching how this plays out on Decred, because it could work out that the governance model doesn't require a huge degree of participation to still function effectively. And to be honest, I wouldn't have any way of guessing that without seeing it in action. So... looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'll always kind of have a soft spot for Decred because they just gave us all a bunch of Decred.
Oh, man. That was the best airdrop ever.
Glory days of, 1 year ago?
Yep.
So, yeah, I would definitely recommend checking out that roadmap. And like Woody said earlier, we love to cover that kind of news, like altcoin forks and roadmaps and that kind of stuff. So if you find any, feel free to send them our way.
And of course, it wouldn't be another week in crypto without some news from the People's Bank of China.
Yeah, I never thought I would be so closely following the affairs of the People's Bank of China, but I guess that's what trading Bitcoin will do to you.
Yeah. So people might remember from last week that they had a meeting with a bunch of the exchanges and had laid out some new ground rules of certain things that couldn't be done anymore. And then the new news this week was essentially that they decided to do what seems to be like a surprise investigations on site.
Yep, we got some on-site visits this week, which once again kind of sent Bitcoin into a spiral. I'm always reluctant to actually tie the individual price stuff to the news. It's like, because we've seen with every pump before, it's always like when it's kind of at the height of its the frenzy, there's always a huge dump. It happened on the 2013 pump. It happened on the kind of in the couple of run-up spikes into this pump. So it's like that huge, 40%, 50% drop. It's almost like, yeah, all this PBOC stuff is like the proximate cause, but it's almost like the market makers are looking for an excuse to make that pattern because we see it so often.
Right. Yeah, it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah, I guess. It's a funny way to look at it.
I don't know. I think that they must be at least slightly related. But I know what you mean. There's no way to directly correlate the price of Bitcoin to any particular news article, that's for sure. On-site investigations don't sound like something you'd want to have happen to you. I think that if the news is like being kind of manufactured that way, that's a pretty good headline. It doesn't sound good at that point.
Yeah, in a way, but it also in a way can be a good thing because the question before this would be like, okay, these exchanges, they're having on-site investigations. would they be able to stand up to an audit? If they actually get the spotlight on them, are they going to like crumple immediately, or are they going to be able to survive it? And so to actually have this kind of these inspections going on is good, because if they do come out okay, it's going to reveal that if it happens again, they probably will be fine again, right? It kind of adds a degree of certainty to the picture. But there already have been some effects. They are limiting and suspending margin trading on a lot of these. They have limited futures trading for domestic customers. So there's already been some effects, just even without like the major ruling having coming down yet.
Yeah, I agree with you that maybe just vetting the exchanges could be a good thing in a certain way if it comes out positively. And one thing that was funny that this whole price thing caused was BTCE is still higher than Huobi.
Really?
That's not very common.
I didn't notice that.
It's been
That's
that way
awesome.
for days now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess BTC is really just more stable.
I don't know.
Interesting.
But everything's kind of caused that. There's been some sort of shift there where, exchanges that used to have the higher prices don't seem to this week.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like you said, we had seen the Chinese exchanges just having way, way higher premiums for the whole run up in the pump.
Yeah.
And then it just flips that easily. It's kind of it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
In some other Bitcoin news this week, a lawsuit was filed in the Midwest from competing Bitcoin ATM owners who one of them has said that the other is sending out a gang to smash his machines with hammers.
Jeez, that's bad sport.
This is a great article on CoinDesk. If you didn't catch this one, I would recommend checking it out. That just seems like such a weird way to conduct your business. Like, first off, I'm surprised that Bitcoin ATMs are even like that lucrative of a enterprise to begin with. Just because I've never really imagined myself needing to use a Bitcoin ATM.
Sure.
And so for them to be competing like almost mafia style for the Bitcoin ATM market is just interesting.
Yeah, that is odd. Maybe it's a personal thing.
About 70 Bitcoin ATMs have been smashed.
Man.
And allegedly there's just a gang of thugs running around doing the smashing.
Now, Brando, when they smash the thing, do they take the Bitcoins out?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why are they smashing Bitcoin ATMs? Wouldn't bashing up regular ATMs be more lucrative? At least he could get the money out of it or something.
I don't know.
That's funny.
Interesting. So, yeah. I bet there's going to be all sorts of crazy ways that Bitcoin makes it into the news in the future like that,
Yeah,
just one of the many there.
The ability of the Bitcoin game to attract some of the shadiest people on the planet is always something to behold.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yep. So that was the Bitcoin ATM owners bashing each other's machines.
Then we wanted to report on a Bitsquare renaming contest that they're running.
Alrighty, Bitsquare. So this is like a
decentralized P2P exchange.
Okay, right on.
And we don't talk about it very much. They have a ton of coins on there. We talked about it when Pascal got listed there because that was the first place that actually allowed that to get traded. But they cannot use the name Bitsquare.
Oh, really? I wonder who's got the rights to that.
I don't know. Their lawyers say it's not going to work. Can't have anything similar to that.
It's over, huh?
So they are offering 0.5 Bitcoins to somebody whose name they'll choose.
Oh, all right. So it's a naming competition?
Yep.
Whew, that's a bold move to trust the internet to name your product.
Well, they also said that they don't have to pick anybody necessarily.
They have the final judgment call, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I guess if you have a good name for a crypto exchange, send it on over to Bitsquare.
And as usual, send us any news that you come across because we'd love to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, hop over to the Cryptopia thread there, altcoin section. Just drop in, leave a comment, get some dots.
Yep, you can also leave us comments through blockchaindynamics.net.
Ready, next we are going to take a look at the markets.
Well, if altcoins aren't back, they never left.
Yeah, seriously. Just a funny great week, really, for altcoin traders, I think.
Every little market you find has like a little uptail right now.
Yeah, it's like we've been talking about how things have been kind of crashing for the past few weeks, and now you can see so many markets where you look on the 1 month chart and it's just like this huge catastrophic fall with a teeny little uptick at the end, which is where we're at now, which is great because when you're in the thick of it, it feels like a huge change, you know. In some cases it is. And
in some cases those little ticks were the entire month or 2 months of losses for some of the coins in these.
Yeah, it's true. But about 3/4 of altcoins were up this week versus Bitcoin, so that's kind of an interesting number. As far as Bitcoin itself, it's down 10% this week, so once again, crashing big time.
A little slower, though, from week to week.
But yeah, it feels, I don't know.
So far, ever since the peak. I mean, obviously, anybody that thought it was just going to go up forever might have been a little high.
Yeah, exactly.
But after it came down, I mean, I'd say it's pretty amazing that it's doing this well at this point.
And like we were saying earlier, this is just what these markets do. They've, the tendency after all of these huge rallies has been for these big, 40% blow-offs. And so it's just, it would almost be more surprising if we didn't see something like this. That said, I'm not like, I also didn't try shorting or anything, so I'm not that good at predicting, when and where the bottom will be.
Oh, absolutely. That's so hard to do.
But yep, down about 10% this week. That's kind of the backdrop for altcoins here. As far as Ethereum this week, it gained, once again, up about 7.5%. But it actually still lost about 3% if you were to look at the USD value. So looking strong against Bitcoin, looking a little weaker against US dollar.
Interesting. And the volume was getting a little bit lower today, too.
Yeah, we noticed Ethereum volume was only at like 2,200 Bitcoins when we last looked, that's about as low as it gets. And so I think that, we're seeing a lot of prices bouncing back this week, but I can understand why people would still be nervous, or I can understand, people saying like, it's probably too early to say alts are back, because if these volumes are tailing off like this, it could mean that, there could be a real sharp turn ahead. Which isn't to say it'll be a downward turn, but it just means that uncertainty, I think, is still out there for a lot of people.
Definitely.
One interesting thing that we noticed this week is that the overall numbers look pretty much the same whether you do or don't include Ethereum. Altcoins overall gained about 7% versus Bitcoin, down about 3% versus USD, regardless of whether you include ETH.
That's not usual for what we find.
Well, one thing that we noticed, in 2016 was that ETH was really leading the charge in terms of, ETH would have big volume, big spikes, and then kind of the rest of altcoins would follow along with it. And then we were kind of wondering in 2017, especially with how strong Monero was doing earlier, and how strong coins like Ethereum Classic and some unexpected coins were doing, we were looking at those and wondering if maybe we were kind of moving away from this market that's driven heavily by ETH. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it'll be Monero, or maybe it'll be Zcash or something kind of leading the markets in 2017. And what we're seeing this week, at least, is that the markets are still really following ETH in terms of the overall trajectory.
Okay.
Looking at some overall numbers going back for the last few months, alts are still off about 6.5% versus their totals from kind of before this latest leg on the Bitcoin pump. But whereas at their worst, they were down about 40% relative to Bitcoin, this week they're only down about 25%. So we've gained back a little bit of the ground that we lost to Bitcoin over the past few months.
Interesting. So it's starting to turn around a little bit in that statistic.
Yep. And if you look at the coin market cap numbers, Bitcoin dominance is down this week from 86 to 85%. But even despite that, because of the overall drop in Bitcoin, alts still lost about $40 million in total USD value.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, interesting week for the markets. I would have honestly kind of expected alts to potentially even be up versus USD this week, just kind of looking at how many big pumps there have been.
Right.
But there were still some big losers like Factom down, Steam down. Just a lot. There were quite a few kind of top 10 coins that were still down this week. That
when there's like multiple top 10 coins that lose, that kind of adds up market cap wise.
Yeah, it offsets kind of the smaller coins that had huge bumps.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's take a look now at the individual gainers and losers this week.
Yeah. At the top of the list, it's got to be TrumpCoin.
TrumpCoin plus 262%.
Yep,
Amazing.
pretty amazing pumping going on there. ZCoin up 171%. LBRY up 156%. And ZClassic up 144%.
You know, gotta love Yobit just treating us to a preposterous TrumpCoin pump the first thing this year.
Yeah, but
So
also
funny.
the volume is sustained across CCX as well, which is pretty amazing. So they've got about 400 Bitcoin volume on both of those exchanges for about a day and a half.
Yeah, we've kind of been spending a lot of time focusing on, like, you know, we're in such a Poloniex-centric world right now, and there's kind of a competition in the under-tier exchanges to see which one is going to kind of rise up to compete. And, you know, we don't usually consider Yobit and CCX to be contenders, but they're showing with TrumpCoin that they can still pull off, you know, these huge market cap, huge volume pumps.
Yeah, I would honestly, for me, I would call TrumpCoin the pump of the year at this point.
Oh, man, he's calling it pump of the year.
Well, just for now. Yeah. I mean, I
2 weeks
was
in.
super impressed by the rate at which this person was buying coins, essentially. It reminded me so much. It's thrilling to watch, even if you're not participating, basically.
It's just,
And I've had that feeling before, and I got it this week.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree, man. Like, when you watch that pump, it's like, sometimes these coins, especially on Yobit, it's like they'll spike 1,000% in a day, but they never bother. You know, their bots won't fill out the buy book. You know, it just kind of is like it's like a flash pump, essentially.
Right.
The price just doesn't stay. There's no support to it. There's no, like, you know, there's no meat to it.
Yeah, that's just somebody buying the entire order book.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas with TrumpCoin, it's like it's the real deal. You know, you could have traded this thing, you know, in pretty big volume any time in the past week.
Yep.
And made a ton of money. It's funny.
And it went way up, and it's kind of going down now. So it'll be interesting to watch, because I can't imagine it going much higher.
Yeah.
But I also, you know, they're so good at making it feel like, oh, you can't believe it's over.
Yeah, exactly.
With these types of pumps.
I would have said that to you about TrumpCoin at 10,000. I probably was saying that the first time it passed 5,000. You know, it's just been so funny like that.
Yeah, ridiculous coin.
And it reminds me, in that way, it's funny because it reminds me of Cravecoin, where it was just like, you look at the coin and you're like, there's no reason for this to be doing so well. And then it just keeps going up beyond anything that you could really imagine.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of hoping that the dump will be equally as fun to watch.
I
as
bet
Cravecoin
it will be at some point. If this isn't it, then it will be soon. It's got to be. I mean, it was incredible to see it go up that fast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with these guys so far. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see them drag this out for a lot longer, but I guess we'll see.
It's really funny too. I was, you know, there's obviously sort of a part of it where they're using a really popular name, and you got to wonder if they can get some attention that other coins might not be able to, and that could turn out really funny for everybody.
Yeah, that's a good question. How big does TrumpCoin have to be before people start to notice it and like it gets in the news? And then, of course,
exactly,
if it gets in the news, Trump is going to notice it, which would just be.
Well, I was kind of wondering
really
to
funny.
myself, like, you know, and this could be a misconception, but you kind of think that these people have a lot of workers that are constantly looking around the internet for information about them or doing things with their, you know,
right.
Some of these people must stumble across TrumpCoin, right? Like, how could you not?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would love to know what the awareness of TrumpCoin is in the political circles, but
so we'll see.
Really funny.
I just think it's hilarious.
As far as the losers this week, we got DigiByte minus 15%, Cryptonite minus 12%, Monero minus 12%, ZClassic down 9%.
Yeah, all of coins most of those coins had seen some gains recently too.
Yeah, DigiByte had that big. It's like got a birthday pump and dump going on right now, it looks like. Monero.
They got a new update coming out too that I'm not too sure about.
It's funny.
Monero has their new wallet that we talked about.
This list is like the same as my personal winners and losers this week. I did good on ZCoin and LBRY, and I lost money on Monero and ZClassic.
Yep.
I'm in the mix.
Right in there. Cool.
Ready. For our next segment this week, we're going to jump into a little something we do like once or twice a month called the Rollin' Review.
Yeah. We just like to keep track of a few coins. Fun to look at their life cycles, and we basically just pick some ones that are interesting.
Yeah, the whole point of this is kind of it's easy to lose track of a coin between like the first bit of hype when it gets launched and then kind of the next round of hype when it gets usually to like a big exchange or something. And so the whole point of this is that we kind of try to track coins that look like they might have an interesting future and see what happens with them.
So first up on the rolling review is a new addition. We're going to go ahead and put that healthy worm coin on the review.
The return of I Got Spots.
Yeah. This one gets on here mostly because of Spots being the dev almost. We just found it pretty interesting that he was coming back. We listened to the video that he posted, which was interesting.
I would highly recommend it.
And basically what's going on is he's growing worms, and they're the type of worms that he would feed to reptiles. And of course he plans to somehow sell the worms for his worm coin.
Yeah, say what you will about I Got Spots, and, I'm sure if I had lost money on his coins, I might feel differently, but as somebody who's, like, always just kind of knee-deep in crypto and shitcoins and altcoins in general, having this guy out there is just always great for me because his coins, they're always so far out of left field. They're just interesting in different ways, and they're also usually pretty good, like, miners coins and that kind of stuff, too.
Yeah, for early miners and stuff. They're always incredibly volatile. Like more than once, the coins have just been like, where is the money coming from on this coin?
Yep, they rarely last more than, they rarely last for a super long duration too. So there's like always a good time to get in, usually a good time to get out.
Yeah,
which we all love in shit coins.
But as far as this coin goes, where it's at right now, he just built a block explorer for it, so they're just kind of getting the basic groundwork going still, I would say. But there's a lot of people, small miners that are going on it, and I'm definitely going to keep my eye on it. Like I said, I've had some bad trading experience with I Got Spots coins.
You've been on the wrong side.
Yeah, I bought DigiByte at like the worst time possible.
Man.
It was amazing. I couldn't have timed it worse.
Funny,
but none of that mattered because my whole point with this being on here was just that it's an experienced dev. We don't see a lot of people coming forward saying that they're devs of coins at this point.
Yeah.
And since it's not actually a well-established coin, we'll keep it on the review and look at it again and see where it actually ends up.
Yeah, exactly. We've got we have somebody that we know is an experienced dev. He's using his real identity for this. And, he's creating a crypto product. It's going to go out on exchange. It's going to have value. It's going to be fun. If it wasn't for I Got Spots, there wouldn't be any worm-backed cryptocurrencies. We can't have that.
Yeah, it's funny, too. He's definitely known for actually sending people. Like, he sent those DigiCube little Google Android computer things, whatever the heck they were.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Staking, some kind of staking wallet, probably.
Right, exactly.
Right. I Got Spots his coins always have a high early proof of stake and SHA mining. So if you have access to SHA miners, he can be just if it's a Spots coin and you have an SHA miner, just mine it for that first couple days and you'll probably mine it and stake it. You'll probably do all right.
Anyways, don't have a whole bunch more to say about it. We'll just keep an eye on it.
Yep. Next up on the rolling review here, we have a coin called Veltor. This launched about 5 months ago now. And really, honestly, I probably wouldn't be watching this if there were more good new coins out there, but because there haven't been any, this one kind of still is on my radar. Kind of the deal here is that it's going to swap to a new chain. The coin originally came out almost like he was acting like it was an experimental coin or something like a...
Right, I remember that. On our first report of it, when it had the new announcement, it seemed like it was an academic thing.
Right, yeah, exactly. But it had the interesting characteristics of a new algorithm, active developer, and it had a really long block time, which I thought was interesting. 30-minute blocks, which is unusual.
Right.
But also, no pre-mine, that kind of usual red flags weren't really there, so that's why I started watching it. So now what he's got going on is Most of the proof of work is over. It had a pretty rapidly descending rewards. So even with the 30-minute blocks, the proof of work is probably like 2/3 over, maybe half over at this point. So difficult to mine. And then it's not going to matter because he's going to do this chain swap. And now the point of the chain swap is that he wants to do a huge emphasis on transaction times. So he's going to...
Like those 30-minute blocks weren't quite cutting it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny. It's really like... It's odd that you would make this first chain that has 30-minute block times and then all of a sudden switch over to try and do like a super high capacity transaction network. He's going to supposedly implement Lightning Network. And really, it's, again, as the claims start to get more grandiose, I start to become more skeptical. But at the same time, there's still a lot of good things that I like about this coin in terms of the distribution was still pretty solid. It's had a pretty stable price, and it's had a consistent developer at least. He's posts updates and that kind of stuff. So as far as new coins go that are kind of still flying under the radar, those are usually pretty good indicators.
Do you know with the swap if that's just going to be proof of stake after that, or is there going to be another proof of work period?
That is a good question. I don't know.
We'll have to look into that for next time.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. It's probably going to have like a spike in the run up to the swap and then settle down at a low price for a long time, but we'll see.
Up next on our rolling review, Pascal.
Pascal, a little coin, launched the same time as Veltor about 5 months ago. And it's just a nice little coin. This is another one that's kind of on the edge of whether we would still normally include it in this segment, but it hasn't really hit a major exchange yet, and there also hasn't been very much in the way of new coins to draw the spotlight away from it.
Yeah, exactly. At some point, we'll be like, okay, it's graduated from the rolling review, I feel like. But for now, it's still pretty new and under the radar, I feel like.
Yeah, the developer is still releasing updates, but they've mostly been technical updates. He does have some kind of marketing bullet point type features coming up, like the, not having to have the full ledger available and that kind of stuff. That is kind of a popular thing that people have advertised, but you don't really actually see it get implemented very much. And so all that stuff, of course, is still out on the horizon. What is good about the coin, of course, is that it's a unique code base. It's coded in a weird language, which a lot of people are kind of like questioning, why would you do that? But I think it's cool. It's just a good way to distinguish a coin in the market these days. But really the big thing that it needs right now is to have pool mining. You can only mine solo mine right now.
Right. That's amazing that it's gone on this long without a pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Without pooled mining. It really does seem unusual.
Yeah, and there is a GPU miner out there, but there are some big farms on it too, so it's just kind of the mining's getting completely owned by those big farm miners, which happens eventually for all coins, but it would be a lot more fun if there was a pool miner, and it's not likely that they're going to really move on to kind of the next stage of development with just solo mining.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of got this push going of like, all right, I want to incentivize people to do a GPU miner, or a pool capable GPU miner, but their effort, like their community fund to do that, hasn't really gained a lot of traction. It doesn't really seem like anyone's biting yet. And so they're kind of stalled, I guess you could say, in that way. They're stalled on that front. At the same time, it's hard to say. I'm not sure if they still have more technical obstacles to getting listed on bigger exchanges.
Right.
Or if it's just a question of, letting the coin establish its reputation for longer or what.
And Cryptopia is a great place to trade it, and for the time being.
But yeah, for now they are on Cryptopia, and they've been doing pretty consistent volume since they got listed. But really, the volume has slowed down a lot. Right after it got listed, it had been mining for like 3-4 months at this point already, so obviously there were a lot of people with a lot of built-up cheap coins that they were ready to unload. And so we saw the market kind of soak those up for the first few months. Now the volume's pretty much dried up, and we're just kind of, I think it's really in a holding pattern, honestly.
Mm-hmm. All right. One other coin on the rolling review still is that Jumbuck swap.
Jumbucks. We want to keep up with this Jumbucks swap.
Right.
So last time we caught up with Jumbucks, they were in their final testing phase.
How are they doing now?
Well, I think they're still in the final testing phase. About a month ago, they said that the release date would be coming in about a month. So we're still waiting
Just
on
getting
that.
closer and closer, I guess.
They did release a technical update kind of about how they are dealing with reworking some of the things from Ethereum.
Awesome.
Of course, for people who don't know, Jumbucks is swapping from like kind of a normal blockchain to an Ethereum-based chain, Ethereum clone essentially. So an independent blockchain, but Ethereum code base. And one of the things they've done is rework the way that the uncle rewards work on ETH. Ethereum has really fast block times, which means that miners get a lot of uncles. And apparently Ethereum has a built-in way to incentivize those blocks to give them some kind of small reward to just kind of so people don't just get screwed if they didn't submit their block first, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of cool, but Jumbucks is not going to have such fast block times, and so they don't need to have as generous of an uncle rewarding system, so they have modified their code to reflect that. They've also implemented all of the latest Ethereum futures to deal with the DDoS type stuff and some of the smart contract exploits that had been floating around. And that's one of our big questions with this Jumbuck swap is how are they going to handle the heat of being an Ethereum chain?
Right.
Because those chains are constantly getting,
Compromised,
bashed.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, supposedly that release date's coming soon, and really not much else to say about that one. It'll just be cool to see how they handle the transition.
Awesome. Yeah, it'll be fun to keep an eye on all four of those coins in our rolling review.
And that's going to do it for the rolling review. Once again, kind of the point of that segment is we want to keep up with coins that are kind of flying under the radar still or haven't reached the big exchanges yet. So if there's a coin that you think we should mention, please drop by and let us know.
We're going to go into our random coin spotlight.
All right, random coins. What better way to look at coins without any bias than to just pick them randomly out of a hat?
Yep. The first one we rolled was pretty high up there. It's New Economy Movement.
The New Economy Movement.
Yeah. Ticker is XEM on exchanges.
Yeah, this is a coin I definitely think most people are going to have heard of. Launched in March 2015. It was actually announced in June of 2014, so that's like a 9-month period between getting announced and actually launching. That's pretty damn long for a crypto.
It is.
It also has one of the longest Bitcoin talk threads I've ever seen. It's almost 1,500 pages.
Jeez. Yeah. Interesting. One thing that I couldn't figure out is the actual distribution model on this coin.
Yeah, that was the first thing that we tried to figure out is how it was distributed. It doesn't use a proof of stake or a proof of work consensus algorithm. They have their own thing that they call POI, which it sounds like it's just a modified version of proof of stake, where your incentive is not just to hold the coins, but you also get some weight added if you send a lot of transactions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of how I didn't understand the exact equation, but yeah, it's something to do with the transacting of the coins as well. Generates interest.
But the bottom line there is that means that if it doesn't have mining and if it's some kind of proof of stake based thing, they probably must have pre-mined the whole thing.
Yeah, that was the only thing I could guess, I suppose.
So, that's kind of part of the deal sometimes. But what I can't figure out is how people actually ever got these. Like, was it...
Aside from buying them on the exchange, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't figure that out either.
I don't see any evidence of there having been an IPO. I don't remember or think it was distributed by airdrop or anything. So I'm just curious as to how this coin was distributed. But barring all that, it is one of the huge market cap coins now.
Right.
Of course, it's on Ponyx, and it's also big on Chinese exchanges.
Yeah, it's amazing to see such sustained volume across both the U.S. and Chinese exchange, I thought. That's pretty...
Yeah.
Not a ton of coins that do that.
It's also it's a built-from-scratch blockchain, of course. It's funny, when it came out, back in the day. These were the kind of coins that I would ignore, just because it would be like too difficult to try and dip your toes in. I guess in this case, there probably wasn't even a way.
Right.
I really wonder how those first NEM got out there.
Yeah, I just do not see the record of it. I looked for a while. If anybody knows, let us know.
The history of NEM.
All right.
So, yeah, that's our big market cap random here. Next, we're going to look at another random coin, a little bit of a lower market cap one.
Yeah, Wild Beast Block.
Wild Beast Blockchain.
That's right.
We've talked about this one a few times before. Like NEM, it's one that I didn't really pay much attention to when it got launched, but it kind of got rocketed into my face a few times in the interim time.
I don't remember it super clearly, but I do remember it being one of the ones where I was like, oh, I should have mined that. Had no idea.
Yeah, it's just,
Did not seem legit at the time.
It's funny. At the time it was a coin launch that I wasn't really interested in. But today it's the kind of coin launch that I would kill for, because it was just like a good old-fashioned script chain, no pre-mine. Obviously had a real developer chilling there, or at least somebody who knew how to clone a coin properly. This one came out in February of 2015.
Okay.
And now it's this whole big thing. They've got, if you check out their thread, they have a pretty huge list of, selling points that they're going for. They've got Wild Beast Blockchain OS.
Okay.
Wild Beast Blockchain Silvermint. Wild Beast Blockchain Business. And the Wild Beast Blockchain Exchange.
Nice.
So they're really taking the the service theme, like services built around a blockchain. They're taking kind of that theme that we've seen before on coins like NLG and others, and really feels like they're pushing it as far as they can go. Essentially, this any of the bullet points that you would have wanted for a coin announcement in 2014 or something, they've got them all here. Basically,
Not seeing a lot of trading going on this exchange that they listed, though.
No, they have zero volume on their own exchange, unfortunately, which is sad, and it kind of shows the plight of the service-based exchange or the service-based blockchain. Because anytime we see them develop these services, the adoption is always just not there.
Right. Cool coin, though.
Yeah, honestly, for me, this kind of Wild Beast blockchain is a good example of what the limits are of kind of the classic blockchain 1.0, like Qt type coins.
Right, when it comes to a script clone.
Yeah, exactly, like a LightCoin legacy coin.
It's pretty impressive in that regard.
Yeah, you really couldn't do much better. They've got all the services on lockdown. They all appear to actually be running and working. And at the end of the day, they do have a probably medium to low market cap overall still. And that just kind of seems like that's the upper limit of good old-fashioned script coin.
I know we've said it before, but it'll be fun to see in the long run where coins like this end up, right?
Yeah, what's going to happen in 5 years to some of these just conventional alts?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they'll still have some value. I'll be surprised if a lot of these services are still online.
Sure, yeah. I mean, if nobody's using them.
Yeah, exactly. How long are they going to keep up the front?
Anyway,
yeah, kudos to the Wild Beast blockchain crew. They've definitely built a cool coin up.
And a good random coin. That'll do it for both of our random coins this week.
Alrighty, strap in, folks. It's time for Mineum Giveaway.
Yes, that's right. We were given 500 Mineum to give to you. And in order to get it, all you have to do is send me the correct answer to a question via Twitter with your Mineum address. And the first person to do so will win the 500 Mineum.
That's right. Our Twitter for here at Blockchain Dynamics is @ChainDynamics. That's just @ChainDynamics.
Yeah, so just direct message me the answer to the following question. At which block number does the proof of work end for Mineum?
Once again, that question is, on what block number does the Mineum proof of work phase end?
So send your answer plus your Mineum address to Chain Dynamics on Twitter, and the first person to do so will get a prize.
Yeah, big shout out to the Mineum crew. We're really happy that they gave us this Mineum to give away.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
If you're not familiar with Mineum, they're kind of a cool, it's like a mining cooperative that handles kind of the dividends and stuff via the ownership of their coin, the Mineum coin.
Right.
It's a really cool little project, and yeah, they're actually doing it. They have a ton of mining equipment. It's like it's real.
Right.
It's not different from some of these other cloud mining operations, I think. So yeah, big shout out to the Mineum crew. Mineum, where's Mineum traded, Yobit?
It's primarily traded on Blue Trade.
Oh, interesting.
But it is also on Yobit and Cryptopia as well.
Are they on LiveCoin?
No.
Okay. Yep, so yeah, check out Mineum. And yeah, don't forget to answer the question, which block number does the Mineum POW phase end?
Moving right along to those new coins.
Yep, we love the new coins here on Chain Dynamics. We always like to go through and just see what is out there.
Yeah, there are still new coins coming out.
Yeah, every week people are still launching these coins. It's a miracle that anyone's still paying attention, but they are. And here we are in the mix.
First up is the proof of work, proof of stake coins this week. And at the top of the list is Iex.
All right, let's take a look here. Iex, first proof of work coin launched this week. So this does have a pre-mine. We're used to that at this point. It is a relatively small 5% pre-mine. But it's got so he's doing an incentive system where there appears to be a bunch of rounds of airdrops that you can join in on. And then as the coin goes on, he says he's going to have a system where if you hold 500 coins for more than a week, you can basically send him a form and he'll send you some coins as like a bonus.
Right, I see that. Huh.
So this is just a funny, going back. This is definitely a blockchain 1.0 approach to doing an altcoin where you're just kind of having a big giveaway with forms and some developer manually probably doling out all the rewards and stuff. But this coin honestly is more fun than a lot of the ones that have been launched. You could mine it.
Right.
Let's see, only 2 coins.
It looked mineable to me as well.
2 coins per block reward. Looks like there's about 400,000 proof of work blocks. And then the 5% pre-mine for giveaways. Which, if he actually gives away all 5%, I'll be surprised, but...
Yeah, you always have to take that with a grain of salt.
But yeah, altogether not the worst we've seen. As far as the technology, though, it's just going to be another clone.
Yep. Up next is LightCoin.
LightCoin, there's a familiar name.
Yeah, I guess they decided to name their coin LightCoin.
I wonder if they have any sense of awareness that that name has been taken already.
It seems like somebody probably told them, and they even told them they actually already have a LightCoin spelled light, this type of light.
That's
luminescent
funny.
Light, but
that's really funny.
He didn't seem to care about that either.
Yeah, so this is LightCoin spelled LIGHT, so it just sounds the same as the popular LightCoin. It's not actually the same name. But yeah, that's funny. Here's the old one from June 12, 2014. There's another LightCoin spelled LIGHT. So they're not even the second LightCoin.
And they just don't seem concerned. So likelihood of seeing that one again, low at this point.
Yep. It does have only a 40 block pre-mine, which is like about as small as it gets these days.
Right.
But it's also it's wallet builders, like straight up, not a good coin.
I think eventually we'll see another coin that has like one of those ultimate deterrents, ultimate rebrand,
Oh,
like,
nice.
Oh man, I didn't mine it because it was named LightCoin and the guy seemed totally unconcerned about it.
We're going to see like a super pro dev is going to come out and just do like a newbie account with the generic like wallet builders description for their coin, but it's actually going to be like the next big.
Yeah, throw the wallet abbreviation in there and everything.
It'll be the next big thing. That's funny.
The next coin on the list is LunaCoin.
Alrighty, LunaCoin getting to be a little bit more interesting than some of the other ones we've seen. We got no pre-mine on this, which is a good start. It is just a script proof of work, so it's just what we're used to there. They've got a few pools up. Really sloppy website. But I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, the no pre-mine was pretty standout-ish.
Yeah, I think I'm just so starved for normal coins that I could almost latch on to anything at this point, but that's the good. There are some questionable aspects to it. The block reward having rate is 1 million blocks. That's really long, even for a long proof of work coin.
Mm-hmm.
Which, at the end of the day, it's if your halving rate is long enough for the purposes of, how long this coin is even going to be out on the market, it just kind of becomes like a constant reward, essentially.
Yeah, and
because you'll never even see the first halving.
They start kind of talking about referral systems and stuff that aren't clear either.
It just this coin looks to me, it's like the shitcoin developers have realized that the 20% pre-mine thing isn't working anymore. So they're trying to switch it up into something, and they just don't quite know how to make a good-looking coin. So they're like halfway between what they think that we want and what we actually want.
Getting closer.
But yeah, maybe they'll actually start releasing some cool coins. Who knows?
Drone coin is next.
This is like what we're used to. This is just a high pre-mine shitcoin.
Yep, looks pretty familiar. He said somebody's going to win a drone. Or did they already
giveaway.
win it? Yeah.
I don't know. I always love giveaway.
We skipped one
raffle coins.
We skipped one post this week where they were trying to give away a car.
Yeah,
so
that was funny. What was that called? Crypto Jacks token or something? No, it was something else. It was a fantasy football themed coin.
It wasn't even a coin, I don't think.
But yeah, as far as drone coin, he is claiming to be giving away a drone, but I would take it with a grain of salt because it's just a wallet builder's coin. So if he's only going to invest 0.02 Bitcoins in the wallet, I don't think he's going to invest in a drone.
He's just looking for a fun way to give away a drone.
Drone coin. Alrighty, next on the list here, we have a coin called PonyCoin.
PonyCoin.
So in terms of actual specs, this is different. It's just a proof of work coin. All right, that's cool. No pre-mine. We like that too.
What?
It has a 10,000 block slow start. So we all laughed at Zcash's endless slow start. This is basically the same deal. With 2-minute blocks, it's going to be 2 weeks at least probably before the actual real reward blocks kick in on this thing.
Nice. Now that's a fair start.
It actually is a kind of a fair start, and it's an interesting way to do it in this day and age because right now there's a lot of people that watch launches even still. And so if somebody just comes out with a coin with good rewards off the bat, people are going to go, they're going to go ham on it. They're going to put many, many gigahashes until like the difficulty will get crazy, which happens a lot, and that's all a lot of good fun. What's going to happen here is in 2 weeks' time, 99% of people who might have mined it, if it could be mined at launch, will have forgotten about it. There's going to be like 2 people left, and they're going to actually have a shot at getting a bunch of coins, I guess. But once again, as far as the coin itself goes, it still looks pretty generic. I don't see anything interesting beyond the normal script.
Yeah. I'm okay with that sometimes, though. This isn't the worst week for launches, is what I'm realizing here.
No, exactly. We're seeing, again, I don't have a lot of there's nothing that looks completely standoutish, but we also have 3 launches this week that have low and 0 pre-mines compared to just nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy with this list. I think PonyCoin's probably the best of the coins too. So again, I don't want to oversell it because there's not a lot to see here, but compared to what we're used to, it's starting to look more interesting.
Last but not least, in the proof of work, proof of stake category, we got RealStreet.
RealStreet, real is the streets.
Actually, maybe it is
Chain
least.
Dynamics.
Last and possibly least.
Yeah, among the least. This is supposed to be a clone of LBC. LBRY, library.
Right.
It's supposed to be a library clone, but it's probably just a virus. There's no source, and don't trust it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they'd be able to do library better than library.
It really doesn't seem like that, but we'll see.
Yeah, interesting idea in a certain way. Not real. This guy's name is Ale Scamhole, too, who posted this. It's a terrible name.
Not a good sign. That's not a good sign.
We'll move into the airdrop category.
Yeah, we had one airdrop coin this week called NewBitShares.
NewBitShares.
Those old BitShares are they're getting old. What are they, 2 years old?
You got to keep your BitShares fresh.
Yeah, you need
And
new
in order to do that, you need new ones.
BitShares. In 2 years, there'll be new BitShares, and that's just how it's going to be.
First security BitShares.
Shares, many BitShares. So anyway, this is obviously a Chinese market originated coin, which, based on what we've seen with our random coins, they tend to be that encompasses a lot of the highest value coins. And they don't usually look very good at the start, and that's also the case here with NewBitShares in terms of it's just like a pure proof-of-stake coin. It does have an airdrop, I guess. You can sign up on their website, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking for my next Decred drop.
I didn't. Maybe this is it, man.
Maybe this is my next
Maybe it's in
chance.
front of our face and we're blowing it right now. It also has huge bounties, so I'm sure the bounty people will be out in force. But yeah, otherwise, as far as the coin, once again, just a generic script clone, it looks like.
Okay.
So, yep, that's NewBitShares. We also had some pre-announcements this week. First up is BullCoin.
Yeah, this fell into the other category because it's not really like blockchain.
This is like an attempt to recreate OneCoin. It's just like a website where they want you to give them money.
So don't fall for that type of stuff if you're new to blockchain trading.
Well, what's funny is they posted it, but like I looked at the website and it's actually so rudimentary that you couldn't even give them the money if you wanted to. So I can't even fathom why they went to the effort of posting it. Oh well.
Yeah, oftentimes we run into confusing posts like that on Bitcoin Talk.
That's BullCoin. Next, we had an announcement for Rchain.
Rchain.
So I guess we're going to swap our AMP for Rchain now.
Yeah, I didn't quite... This one was a little bit over my head, this announcement, but because I almost felt like it was an optional swap. If you know what I mean? Like, this isn't the AMP people doing a swap. This is just somebody making something called Rchain and distributing it based on you giving him AMP.
Right, I think that's how it works completely.
Right.
Which, yeah, I guess you're kind of trusting him to actually be using a burn address or not. I don't know what the deal there is, but this, like you said, it was hard for me to understand what the deal is. Sometimes I feel like I often have a hard time understanding what the point of these altcoins is, but a lot of them really just do a lot of like buzzword bingo type stuff where it's like, smart contract 2.0 invest gains coin.
Right.
Where they're just kind of lumping all these trendy sounding words together. And that's kind of the vibe that I get on Rchain, which is also kind of the vibe that I got from AMP, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, okay, it's obvious you guys put a lot of work into this project, but...
Well, AMP's got to be up there with the ones that shocked me when it got onto Polo.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, what?
That's
really?
a good point. That's a good point. AMP wasn't really shit until that happened.
Right.
But anyway, here's Rchain, and they have obviously put a lot of work into it. I just can't see like what the use case is, I guess.
I kind of know what you mean there. Up next, we're going to look at a pre-announcement for a project called Empinex.
All right, I really liked this post too.
Yeah, this one had some good things going for it. It's a little bit on the modest side.
So yeah, here's the guy coming out and he's saying, all right, all I'm going to do here is launch a coin, and I'm just going to try to integrate the futures of other altcoins into it.
Actually, even going so far as to saying he wants to do it till it breaks, basically.
Yep, exactly. So he's playing the experimental coin angle. He's playing the kind of just integrating other people's ideas angle. We've seen all this stuff played before. But usually it can be a good premise for a coin, and it all comes down to what extent the developer is going to be willing to stick it out. This is a coin where you can tell pretty much up front that the guy at least has some development skills. It's not just going to be a wallet builders or something.
Right.
So that's kind of your first clue that it's probably worth paying attention to.
And he does say there's not going to be a pre-mine.
Yep, there's not going to be a pre-mine. And so really the value of this coin is going to come down to what this guy is capable of. We have no idea at this point. You know, it wouldn't surprise me to see him disappear 2 weeks after. But it also, you know, that on the flip side of that coin is that if he does stick around, it would probably be a really lucrative coin for early adopters and stuff. So
yeah,
that's one I like. I really like announcements like this, and I guess, you know, if alts really are going to come back, this is kind of, I want to see more stuff like this.
And I don't see a actual release date yet, do you?
Nope, I don't see anything yet. I think that he did announce some specs, though. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, so it's going to be cloned off of Dash. It'll be a long proof of work with 80 coin reward having every 2 years and 3.5-minute blocks. Okay, but it's also going to use Equihash, Zcash's hashing algorithm. He says that he's going to dirty merge all of Bitcoin's commits, which that's a little bit alarming. I don't think that would work. I would assume that would just break it, but he's taking a difficulty readjustment from Gulden. He's taking stealth addresses from Shadow Cash. You know, that's a lot of cool shit to say that you're offering in a coin. And once again, it's just going to come down on how he delivers. But
yeah, whether it happens or not, it sounds fun. It sounds like that's like almost too much stuff, but
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
The coin there is Empinex, Empinex.
And then I got a list of ICOs for you.
Yep, just a usual list of ICOs.
We got Iex.ec, Banana Fund, Solar Flare Project, Pro, and MatchPool.
Bit of a slowdown in the ICO train this week, which I won't complain about.
Yeah. In fact, when we give a little review of the new coins, I see that there's some interesting ones.
Yeah, so that's all the new coins. Going back through the list, I'm seeing, PonyCoin might be worth sticking around for.
Even LunaCoin, PonyCoin, and Empinex.
Yeah, Empinex is really the standout this week, I think.
But really the highlight there, like Brandon had said earlier, is just here's some coins without pre-mines.
Right, it's just a shift in the overall tone of the launches.
So that's why they stand out at the moment. It'll be fun to see what happens going forward. As always, I kind of go through my day staring at charts in slack-jawed wonder. Basically. So
yeah, I get it, man. I get it.
So I still think anything's possible. All right. I don't think we're very interested in any of the ICOs this week, except for Brandon loves Banana Fund. No, just kidding. We don't really know. We don't really look very close at them these days.
You know, my thing on ICOs, and I've said it a bunch of times, and I'll probably continue saying it, is that if it's any good, there's going to be plenty of time to buy it on exchange. Like,
right.
There hasn't ever been a huge project that you couldn't have eventually bought on exchange
after it's been vetted a little further.
Yeah, exactly. And you might not get exactly as much profit as somebody who bought the ICO, but you also don't have to wait 6 months. You don't have to, it's just a good general advice in my opinion. Alrighty. That does it for new coins. Next, we're going to jump into coin listings.
Yeah.
A very light week for listings this week. And, we're really seeing the drought of good new coins coming into full effect now as far as affecting the listings.
For sure. I think I love where it's at right now. I guess especially because I finally have a few altcoins, whereas maybe, when we first started trading and all the coins were going up and I was sitting there like flipping Dogecoin for a Satoshi difference,
right.
Yeah. It was difficult to benefit at all from the rises of certain altcoins.
Yeah, totally. I understand what you're saying too. And, like back then, my focus was like singularly on new coins. It was like the only thing I really paid attention to. And because it worked, it worked consistently. So obviously I wasn't going to complain about it. But now, of course, as time goes on, it's pretty clear that it's almost this feeling like, there's an increasing sense from people that all of the good coins are already out there and that there's not much on the horizon even for good new coins.
In a certain way, yeah.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I think that in some ways probably the best is still yet to come. But I'm also finding myself spending a lot more time looking at old coins, like looking for opportunities at what's out there and what's been out there.
Yeah.
Versus just kind of constantly trying to catch the next big thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't find myself in the mindset of thinking that like no good new coins are coming out.
Right.
But I definitely realize that I wish I had a Bitcoin of every altcoin on Poloniex.
Every altcoin.
Yeah. It'd be wonderful.
That's true.
I mean, over time, you'd have to manage it.
Right.
But
that also would include some,
I had no idea that all these markets would turn out to be so lively over such a long period of time.
That Bitcoin of Diem would be a total loss.
Yeah.
But then again, this week that Bitcoin of LBC is plus 300%. So
I know. I just said every coin, but there's a lot of good ones on there.
Yeah, I get what you mean, and I've expressed that desire too. And I actually tried that trading strategy a little bit a couple weeks ago. I just ended up buying like 15 Poloniex coins just because I kind of wanted to see how it would play out. But those are all coins that I bought trade too, so I don't really have to worry about selling them, I guess.
Right.
At least not in a near term. So yeah, interesting stuff out there. Getting back to the listings, on Cryptopia, they listed a couple coins this week.
They listed that Suicide coin.
Okay.
And they listed Pure Vids.
Pure Vids, all right.
And then the next exchange that we know listed something is NovaExchange. They listed Spectre, and they listed Chicks.
That's funny. And
that's all. Oh.
One other's listing this week, Bitstamp.
Listed Ripple.
Yeah, so that was huge news,
That's a big listing.
Yeah, Ripple was up a lot this week. That's another coin I just can't quite get on board with.
Right.
Like I realize that I'm giving up an opportunity to make some money, but I just can't.
If you like your crypto with a dash of centralization.
And I do. I sometimes do enjoy a nice centralized crypto. I just Ripple's not the one for me, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, congrats to them. I guess getting on Bitstamp is probably pretty huge news.
Yeah. And looking back, of course, Ripple is definitely the biggest listing of the week. There's just not a lot going on in listings.
Yep, no listings from Bittrex, no listings from Yobit, no listings from CCX.
Yeah, which honestly, like I said, is fine right now. It feels great right now. I'm looking forward to Bittrex doing their update.
Yes.
And then starting to list coins, and Poloniex needs to list a couple coins in the next, 5 months too, or even 2 months.
Yeah, it's just getting to be a little ridiculous at this point. But we need more good coins too, man.
But there's good old coins that people would definitely trade on there.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe these exchanges need to open their mind to old coins a little bit too.
Yeah, there's plenty of coins that have been trading for years that just happen to not be on any of the major exchanges, what we consider the major exchanges.
Yeah, I like that. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Poloniex list old coins.
And sometimes we would think it was just the volume, right? Back in the day, it would be like, they're waiting for volume. And we would see that a coin would come out and it would be like, oh, this is the pump coin. So it would get cross-listed across every exchange that was there all of a sudden.
Yep.
We don't see that anymore.
It's true.
I mean, I don't even know what they look for anymore.
It's just that Polo-centric world, man. Nobody knows what Poloniex likes, and so it's just confusing for everybody.
With Cryptopia, it's nice because you can just pay to get listed.
Yeah, those are just... yeah, exactly.
NovaExchange does that too. I mean, I've heard Bittrex does, but they don't make it as
they do. I remember
easy or too clear to me.
I think it's just that easy, man. You send them 5 Bitcoins or 3 Bitcoins or something, and you're in. That's how Syndicate got listed. I remember.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's just a little more expensive than some of the others.
Yep.
Anyways.
So yeah, that's it for the coin listings this week. Next, we are going to jump into our last segment, the coin birthdays.
Yeah. I feel like I'm probably missing a few this week because my number one source for looking up new coin birthdays on a week-to-week basis is down.
Altcoin calendar, our old friend.
They say they're upgrading and that their grandma is doing it. So it might be a while.
Yeah,
but,
we'll see how that goes.
Anyways, that just is inspiration for me to make sure to go and get that list that I've been talking about.
More birthdays.
This week, however, happy 3-year birthday to Vertcoin.
Vertcoin.
Which was January 9th, 2014. And then the next day, January 10th, 2014, was DigiByte.
Those are some pretty badass birthdays, man. We only have a couple this week, but they're both dope. Vertcoin, January 9th, 2014. The first script N. Yep. I remember when everyone was like paranoid that mining Vertcoin would burn up your GPU.
Right.
And, there might have been some truth to it because they did switch away. They did switch off that algo, whether it was because it was actually bad or just for marketing reasons or whatever. I don't know, but
yeah, that's true. Both really good coins at this point, though.
You know what's funny too? Vertcoin came out and they did script N, and there was like a wave of coins after Vertcoin that copied the script N algorithm. And then Vertcoin switched to Lyra 2RE algorithm. And as you know, a bunch of coins have come out since then that also use Lyra. So they, like, whatever algorithm they've been switching to is, like, creating trends.
Yeah, it's like
coins.
leading the way in certain ways like that. That is very true.
And, yeah, DigiByte also really happy to see celebrating their 3-year birthday.
I know one reason for that, at least with the Lyra thing, was that it could be merge mined with certain...
Oh, nice.
I believe.
That makes
other
sense.
Ones. Yeah, and DigiByte, always in the mix.
They're always in the mix. DigiByte was a coin like in 2015 times as one that I would have kind of expected to just like fade off into the mist and kind of go the way of Redcoin, I'll say. Kind of expected it to have what happens to Redcoin, where there's still people that are into it, but you can kind of tell that
it lost an exchange.
Yeah, exactly.
Exchange.
You can kind of tell that it's on the downward slide. But DigiByte's, they're staying in there, man. They're looking as good as ever. And
happy birthday.
And yeah, huge congrats to them on 3-year birthday.
And you know what? I think that's just going to about do it for this week's Blockchain Dynamics show.
Boom. Man, really fun chatting with you here, Woody.
Yep, it's always a pleasure.
We are brought to you, as usual, by Cryptopia.co.nz, a really sweet altcoin platform. If you haven't started trading on Cryptopia yet, then I don't know, man. You're missing out.
Head over there. See what they got to offer.
Get some dots. Also, head over to our website. We're at blockchaindynamics.net and vote on those Wolong Awards.
That's right. A couple weeks and we'll announce the winners.
Yep.
There's some close races out there.
It's true. It's true. This has been Blockchain Dynamics, episode number 46. And we always like to remind people that our theme song we love is by Grammatic, so check him out.
That's right. So we'll see you next week with some heavier bags.
Peace.
Currency. Like a couple Bitcoins. Pull up on my Nakamoto.